Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Anna Gutu and Gina Marie Rzucidlo? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Anna Gutu was born in the early 1990s in Ukraine. She was raised in the neighboring country of Moldova, where she attended college. When she was 21, Anna moved with her husband to the United States, but they later divorced. In 2021, Anna developed an interest in mountain climbing after seeing a documentary on Netflix titled 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible. A mountaineer named Nims Persia was featured in the documentary. He had climbed the 14 highest peaks in the world. All these mountains have an elevation of over 8,000 meters, which is 26,246 feet. His accomplishment generated intense interest in reaching the 14 summits and created a new goal for serious mountaineers looking to make a name for themselves. Anna became inspired to accomplish this goal. She wanted to be the first American woman to climb the 14 peaks. Mountain climbing was a different direction for Anna's life. She had moved to Paris and graduated from pastry school. Her plan was to open a bakery, but she focused on this new mountain climbing goal instead. She started climbing mountains and documented her adventures on Instagram, where she accumulated 38,000 followers. In May 2023, when Anna was at the Mount Everest base camp, she encountered a fellow mountaineer named Gina Marie Rzucidlo. Gina had been born in 1978 in Auburn, Massachusetts. As an adult, she lived in Manhattan, New York, and had various jobs, like an airline stewardess and a real estate agent. She took an interest in mountain climbing and had climbed Mount Everest in 2018. She would go on to climb several other mountains over the next few years. At some point, she realized she could be the first American woman to climb the 14 highest peaks. As I mentioned, Anna and Gina encountered each other in May 2023 at the base camp for Mount Everest. Gina was not there to climb Mount Everest again. Rather, she was climbing a mountain which shares the same base camp called Lhotse. This was Gina's 8th peak out of the 14. Anna was there to climb both mountains, which would have been her 3rd and 4th peak. Considering how Gina was far ahead in the race to the 14 peaks, she may not have paid any attention to Anna. But that would change in July 2023 when the women ran into each other again. They were at the base camp of Gasher Brum 2 in Pakistan. It was here that Gina first became concerned about her young competitor. Referring to Anna, Gina sent a text message to a friend indicating that a Ukrainian girl with an American passport had just climbed 5 peaks in Nepal and was now trying to climb all the peaks in Pakistan. Gina didn't think it was fair that Anna was trying to claim the record as the first American woman to climb the peaks when she had citizenship in Moldova and Ukraine as well. Expressing frustration over Anna's unqualified status and fame-seeking nature, Gina wrote, quote, "Just a typical Instagram climber. I don't understand why these people just jump into climbing and try to rush all of these mountains. It's taken me so many years to get where I am," unquote. By the end of that month, Anna had climbed 11 of the peaks. Gina was at number 12. Anna only needed one more peak in Nepal, and it would be an even race. Both women had to wait for permits from China because they both needed to climb the 2 mountains in Tibet, Cho Oyu and Shishapangma. This allowed Anna to climb the last peak she needed in Nepal on September 29, 2023. Now both women had 12 peaks. This takes me to the timeline of the incident. On October 1, 2023, Gina climbed Cho Oyu in Tibet. On her way down, she noticed that Anna was headed up the mountain. Gina knew that Anna would probably reach the peak, and there would only be one peak left to capture the title of first American woman to climb the 14 highest peaks. Gina needed to climb Shishapangma before Anna did. She traveled to the town of Tingri and prepared to conquer the mountain, which has an elevation of 26,335 feet. The expedition company she was with was not as thrilled about pushing forward so quickly. They decided to wait for the rest of the teams so they could have help with fixing ropes and breaking trails. This prompted Gina to contact another company and request the services of Tenjin Sherpa, who went by the name Lama. He was a very experienced guide with a great reputation. The expedition company put a high price tag on Lama's services. Gina spent the night thinking about it. The next morning, she sent a $30,000 deposit to the company. That evening, Lama arrived in Tingri. Gina and Lama made their way to the base camp for Shishapangma on October 4. Their expectation was to summit within a couple of days. At the base camp, Gina ran into several climbers she recognized from her many adventures. They warned her that it had been snowing on the mountain for 2 days, which raised concerns about an avalanche. They recommended waiting 1 or 2 days. Gina ignored these warnings and planned on departing for the peak the next day, October 5. She said that she did not want to wait because she had the strongest Sherpa on the mountain. Anna rushed to make it to base camp. She had arranged for yaks to carry the supplies for her team, but the yaks never showed up. She was forced to leave much of her food and gear behind. Frustrated by the lack of yaks to carry her packs full of snacks, Anna cracked and got back on track for the attack. People told her to quit yakking, but she was ready to talk smack. She recorded a voice memo with her GoPro accusing Gina of playing dirty by changing expedition companies and of spreading rumors about her. Anna said, "It's not about the record, but I think the point has to be proven here." On October 5, Gina and Lama departed base camp, hoping to make it all the way to Camp 2. Deep snow made the trip difficult and slow. They only made it to Camp 1, where they spent the night. On October 6, Gina and Lama departed for Camp 2. Just a few hours later, Anna and her team arrived at Camp 1. By this time, she was already using oxygen. Other climbers felt this was unusual because they were only at about 20,670 feet. Usually, mountaineers don't start using oxygen until they move above 23,000 feet. Anna pressed on, and both she and Gina arrived at Camp 2. They were now dead even in the race to the summit. There were about 50 other climbers trying to make it to the peak. Many of them were worried about the weather conditions and the tension between Anna and Gina. There had already been one avalanche on this expedition, which injured a climber and a guide. The climbers felt as though the competition was making the climb more dangerous than necessary. The women were encouraged to climb the mountain together and share the title of first American woman to reach the 14 highest peaks, but they both refused. They were each determined to be the victor or die trying. On October 7, 2023, the women and their teams departed for Camp 3, with Anna leaving about an hour earlier than Gina. At 8:15 a.m., Anna and her team noticed that Gina was not far behind them. Not long after this, Gina and Lama passed the group that Anna was in. Other climbers were astounded by Gina's speed. Both teams pushed toward the summit in an effort to claim the title. As Gina used a direct route to the summit, Anna used a route to the right. At about 11:30 a.m., disaster struck in the form of an avalanche. A wall of snow, ice, and debris slammed into Anna and 2 Sherpas. It was not immediately clear if any of them had survived. Gina was advised that descending would be the smartest move, but she insisted on moving forward because they were so close to the summit. The other climbers started descending the mountain, mostly because of the not wanting to die part. Several guides went to the site of the avalanche, which slammed into Anna and the 2 Sherpas. They found Anna's dead body and the body of a Sherpa named Mingmar. The other Sherpa, who had been caught in the avalanche, was badly injured. As rescuers were rendering assistance to the injured Sherpa, there was another avalanche nearby. This one slammed into Gina, Lama, and another Sherpa. Gina and Lama were killed. The other Sherpa was badly injured. The guides focused their attention on evacuating the 2 injured Sherpas, one from each avalanche. On May 17, 2024, about 7 months after the fatalities, the bodies of Anna and Mingmar were recovered. The bodies of Gina and Lama were never found. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. A significant mystery in this case is how Anna and Gina covered all their expenses to take these amazing mountain climbing adventures all over the world. They had each incurred costs of hundreds of thousands of dollars, yet had no apparent source of income. For example, neither woman had any sponsors. Reportedly, family members have not been willing to reveal where the money came from. I suppose it's possible they don't know the source of the money. Whoever the money suppliers were, it doesn't appear as though they were too interested in being featured in any of the photographs taken by the women. The women mostly appeared alone or with Sherpas. I doubt that most Sherpas could afford to fund these expeditions. The secret investors were not looking for fame in return for their generous contributions. Item number 2. As I mentioned, Gina first felt threatened by Anna's performance when they encountered each other in Pakistan. This is when she realized Anna could catch up with her. If Gina had been serious about winning the title of the first American woman to climb the 14 peaks, it would have been wise to move as quickly as possible. Gina should not have assumed that no one would be trying to catch her. It's almost like Gina really didn't care about the title until she observed someone else caring about the title. Anna, on the other hand, was interested from the beginning in obtaining the glorious prize. She desperately wanted to be famous on Instagram. Item number 3. Did the competition between the two women lead to their deaths? Reaching the summit of Shishapangma is not considered technically challenging, but the avalanche risk on this mountain has always been substantial. For example, one of the greatest mountaineers of all time, Alex Lowe, was killed by an avalanche there in 1999. I have a separate video about Alex. If Anna and Gina had not been racing to the summit, they probably would have selected routes up the mountain that took longer. These routes would have minimized the chances of being killed in the avalanche. Instead, they used fairly direct routes to the summit and exposed themselves to significant risk. Even if Anna's death was not preventable, Gina could have descended after the first avalanche, and she would have survived. Gina may not have known that Anna had been killed, but she knew that Anna had been buried by the avalanche. Getting hit by an avalanche contributes to a less than optimal climbing experience. In my opinion, these women were determined to defeat each other to such a degree they didn't care about risking their own lives or the lives of their Sherpas. Ultimately, they both proved to be self-centered, impulsive, irresponsible, arrogant, grandiose, vindictive, petty, immature, cold, callous, and envious. Item number 4. One of the most interesting elements of this case is how people are really reaching when constructing these titles. In this instance, each climber wanted to be the first American woman to climb the 14 peaks. Maybe it should have occurred to them that no one else appeared to be chasing the same title. Before you know it, people will find even more convoluted ways to make themselves special with all these title criteria, like I'm going to be the first person to climb the 14 peaks who lived in a state containing 2 different vowels, had a pet rock collection, and once rode in a hot air balloon. None of these titles are worth dying for, even those that may be marginally impressive. If these women wanted to risk their own lives to gain just about nothing, that was their choice. But getting the Sherpas killed was unforgivable. Those are my thoughts in the case of Anna Gutu and Gina Marie Rzucidlo. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.